morning, students. From today we will discuss about the NEET on the topic motion in a straight line, right? So in NEET exam we have total number of questions is 45 questions. So each question carries 4 marks, right? So out of these 45 questions, so almost some 22 questions will come from first year, right? So remaining some 23 to some 25 questions will come from second year. So it may vary. So maximum 22 questions from the first year and maximum from the second year is 23, right? So ವೇರಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ನಮಗೆ 20 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಬರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ 22 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಬರ್ಬೋದು ಡಿಪೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಟುಡೇ ವಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ದ motion in a straight line. So from this chapter the possible question is one question or it may vary. So motion in a plane alli kelbodu ಅಥವಾ motion in a straight line alli kelbodu. So this year they asked motion in straight line. So in regular class also we discussed that question, right? So height find out ಮಾಡೋದು, right? So starts with so first year and second year both are very important because half the questions will come from first year. So if you only concentrate on second year, so you lose almost 20 questions from first year, right? So each question and each topic is very important, right? So let's discuss. So starts with the first question, right? So Preeti reached the metro station and found that the escalator was not working. She walked up the stationary escalator in time T1. On other days, if she remains stationary on a moving escalator, then escalator takes her up in time T2. So the time taken by her to walk up on the moving escalator will be. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ from this topic, so we have the concepts distance, displacement, speed, velocity, right? So speed or velocity that is equals to distance divided by time, and acceleration that is equals to velocity divided by time. So in velocity we getting average velocity, right? So that is average displacement or displacement by time taken, total time taken, and also average acceleration. So along with this we have the equations of motion. V is equals to u plus at, s is equals to ut plus half at square, and v square minus u square is equals to 2as. So only we have this much of formulas from this chapter. By using these formulas only we are going to simplify the maximum questions, right? So concepts, while reading the question you need to understand the concept because time ತುಂಬಾ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಟೈಮ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಕೂಡ ತುಂಬಾ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ while reading the question you need to understand the question and also on what concept the question is they asked, right? So question ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಪ್ರೀತಿ reached the metro station and found the escalator was not working. So escalator means moving staircase, right? So ಏನಂತ ಇದೆ, it's not working and she walked up with the stationary escalator in a time t1, right? So if you consider this as one escalator, right? So from here to here, so AB is an escalator, that means it is moving. So we can observe this in metro stations and also in shopping malls. So ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಇದ್ರೆ automatically it will move towards the upward direction. So ಅದು moving staircase ನ ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, escalators, right? So first case ಅಲ್ಲಿ when Preeti reached the metro station and found escalator was not working, right? So she walked up a stationary escalator in a time t1. So Preeti is moving on this escalator and she reached from point A to point B is she taken time t1, right? Next, on the other days, if she remains stationary on a moving escalator, then escalator takes up in time t2. So next days she is standing on the escalator and the escalator will take her to from point A to point B in a time t2, right? So T1 is the time which is taken by the Preeti on staircase, moving on the staircase. That means ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ನಮಗೆ ಎರಡು ಕೇಸಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇಮ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರು ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಸೇಮ್ ಇದೆ, ಎಸ್ಕಲೇಟರ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಸೇಮ್ ಇದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಫರ್ದರ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕೇಸ್, then that time the time taken by her to walk up on a moving escalator will be. So in the next case ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ escalator ಕೂಡ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಜೊತೆಗೆ she is also walking on the escalator, right? So we need to find that velocity, right? Sorry, time taken by her to walk up. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು? ಟೈಮ್. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇರೋ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಟೈಮ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಫೈಂಡ್ ದ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದಿ Preeti, right? So velocity is distance by time taken. So distance is AB. We taken this distance as AB as the distance, right? So distance, time taken by the Preeti is T1, right? So velocity of Preeti is distance by time. Next, in the second case, velocity of the escalator VE, that is also equals to distance by the time taken by the escalator is T2, right? So that is d by T2. So this is for the first case and this is for the second case. So in the third case, Preeti is also moving and escalator is also moving. That means Preeti is moving with certain velocity and escalator is also moving with certain velocity. So both are moving means the net velocity. That means total velocity, right? So the total velocity or net velocity, that is equals to velocity of the Preeti plus velocity of the escalator, right? So we know velocity of the Preeti, that is d divided by T1 plus d divided by T2. So this gives what? V net. Again from the formula, velocity is equals to distance by time taken, that is the net distance by time taken, right? So d divided by T. So T is the net time taken by the Preeti and also the escalator. So that one we directly taken T or T net, right? So that is equals to d by T1 plus d by T2. So in the LHS and also in the RHS, d is common, right? So we can take common and we can cancel. So we get 1 by T, that is equals to 1 by T1 plus 1 by T2. So taking LCM, T1 plus T2, we get T1, T2. So this gives what? 1 by T. So T is equals to T1, T2 divided by T1 plus T2, right? So the correct option is option B, right? So option is option B. So escalator move ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಜೊತೆಗೆ Preeti is also moving means both moving with the time. So that means she reaches point A from point B is T1 T2 divided by the formula is T1 plus T2, right? So next, two cars P and Q starts from a point at the same time in a straight line and their positions are represented by xp, that is equals to at plus bt square, and xt, that is equals to ft minus t square. At what time do the cars have the same velocity? So that means they given the relation of the distance with respect to time, right? So x p of t, that means the distance relates with the time. So time change ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆಲ್ಲ distance ಕೂಡ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Change ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So that's the given in the relation at plus bt square and x cube of t, that is equals to ft minus t square. So in this case, a, b and f, all these are constant. So that means their value varies from 1 to some 100 or infinity. So these we call as constant, right? So they given displacement in terms of time, right? So next, they are asking at what time do the car have the same velocity? So in number distance relates with the time, right? So distance varies with time. So they are asking at a particular time, right? So at a particular time, the velocity of a particle p is equals to the velocity of the particle, that is car p, that is equals to car q. That means we need to first find the velocity of car p and also velocity of car q, right? So that is v p, velocity of car p, that is equals to dxp divided by dt. That is change in displacement with respect to time. So now we need to differentiate this relation, right? d by dt at plus bt square, right? So if we differentiate this relation, we get the velocity of the car p. So a is constant, keeping as it is, right? So if we differentiate t, that is dt divided by dt, that value gives 1, right? So again, I am writing here t to the power of n, that is equals to n into t power n minus 1. So if we differentiate t power n, we get n into t power n minus 1. So here t power is 1. So if we differentiate t power 1, so we get 1 into t power 1 minus 1. 1 minus 1 is 0, so t power 0 is 1. So 1 into 1, we get 1, right? Plus b, keeping constant, so b is a constant, so keeping as is. So d by dt of t square, so here n is 2. So here if we differentiate 2 into t power 2 minus 1, so 2 minus 1 is 1, so we get b into 2t, right? So that is a plus 2b t. That gives what? Velocity of the car p. So next, same wise, velocity of the car q, that is equals to dx by dt, that is equals to d by dt ft minus t square, right? So again, f is a constant, keeping f as it is. T, differentiate t, we get 1 minus t square minus 2 into t power 2 minus 1, we get 1. So we get f minus 2t. So this gives vq. So here we are going to find the time, at what time these two velocities same. That means vp is equals to vq. So they given the condition vp is equals to vq. So substituting the RHS, a plus 2bt, that is equals to f minus 2t. So we need t. So taking to the RHS 2bt plus 2t, that is equals to f minus a. So we need t, take t as common, that is 2b plus 2, that is equals to f minus a. So t is equals to f minus a divided by 2b plus 2, or we can write this one as f minus a into 2 divided by b plus 1, right? Or 1 plus b. So option is option D. So we get the time. So at this time, velocity of car p is equals to velocity of car q. So simplification fast ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So for understanding purpose, I am writing all these steps. So directly we can write v is equals to a plus 2bt and q is equals to f minus 2t. So if you know the differentiation and if you practice the differentiation, directly we can write the steps, right? So on to the third question. If the velocity of the particle is v, that is at plus bt square, where a and b are constant, then the distance traveled by it between 1 second and 2 seconds. So in previous problem, they given displacement, and from the displacement we find the velocity. That means if we differentiate the displacement, we get the velocity. So in this problem, they given velocity and we need to find the displacement, right? So the given velocity v, that is equals to at plus bt square, and they mention a and b are constant, so there may be any values, right? Then the distance traveled by it in between 1 second and 2 seconds, right? So the given time t is equals to 1 second, so we need to find the displacement when t is equals to 1 second and when t is equals to 2 seconds. So if we difference these two displacement, we get the displacement, that is distance which is traveled from 1 second to 2 second, right? So as already told, so if we differentiate the displacement, we get velocity, right? So same wise, if we integrate the velocity, we get the displacement. So differentiation and integration both are reversible process. So differentiation in the integration ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, integration in the differentiation ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, right? So differentiate ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ velocity ಬರುತ್ತೆ, velocity ನ integrate ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ we get the what displacement. So if we again differentiate the velocity, we get the acceleration. So if we integrate the acceleration, we get what? The velocity, right? So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ velocity ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, we need to find this, that is displacement. That means we need to integrate this relation, right? So we know velocity that is equals to dx by dt or ds by dt, change in displacement with respect to time, right? So we need only the displacement, right? So that's why we write that one as dx is equals to v into dt, right? So we know the value of v, or here integrating above equation. So that means this equation we are going to integrate, right? So integration symbol is s dx, that is equals to integration v into dt, right? So we know the value of t, the given, so integration of anything with respect to x, that means, so here some constant with respect to x, we get that value x, right? That is equals to, so we need the displacement in the time interval from 1 second to 2 seconds, that means limits becomes from 1 to 2, right? So this we call as initial or starting limit, and 2 is what we call as end limit or final limit, right? So limiting from 1 to 2, so here we have the value v, that is at plus b t square into dt. So here we have dt. So here we are integrating with respect to time, right? So this is the formula for the differentiation, t to the power of n, that is equals to n into t power n minus 1. So if we integrate t power n, right, so integrate t power n with respect to dt, that is equals to t power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. So you need to remember this one. So here we write this one as dtn by dt. So that is for the differentiation, right? So here this is for the integration. So formula same irutte, but limits later we can substitute, right? So here we can write this one as 1 to 2 a into t dt plus 1 to 2 bt square dt. So we can write this in separate two terms, at and bt square. So here a is constant, right? So keeping a as is, right? So here t, its power is 1. So if we integrate t power 1 with respect to dt, so idun barudre namage ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, a outside ಬಂದ್ರೆ integration of t dt. So n power is 1. So that means the formula becomes t power 1 plus 1 divided by 1 plus 1, right? T power 1 plus 1 divided by 1 plus 1. So limit is 1 to 2, right? So next, plus b keeping outside. So here t power n value is 2. So here t power 2 plus 1 divided by 2 plus 1, right? So that is t power 2 plus 1 divided by 2 plus 1. So limit is 1 to 2, right? So simplify here, we get x is equals to a into t square divided by 2, limit is 1 to 2 plus b into t cube divided by 3, so limit is 1 to 2. So substituting the limit, upper limit and lower limit. So a keeping as is, first we need to substitute upper limit, so that is 2 square divided by 2 minus, so always the formula is upper limit minus lower limit, right? So substituting here, lower limit is 1 square divided by 2 plus b into, again upper limit is 2 cube divided by 3 minus 1 cube divided by 3, right? So upper limit minus lower limit, upper limit minus lower limit. So here 2 square get cancelled, so a into 2 minus 1 by 2 plus b into 8 by 3 minus 1 by 3. So this is regular simplification. So 4 minus 1, 3 by 2, a plus, so 8 minus 1, 7 by 3, b. So this gives what? The displacement which takes the time interval from 1 second to 2 seconds, right? So the option is option A. So is the steps necessary? Directly, if you know the integration, directly we can write this, that is a into t square by 2 plus b into t cube by 3, right? So idu practice agbeku, nimge practice aaytu andre directly you can write a t square by 2 plus b t cube by 3. Now substituting the limits here, so 1 to 2, so a into upper limit is 2 square by 2 plus b into 2 cube by 3 minus lower limit is a by 2 plus b by 3. So now simplification. So first step, second step, right? So directly you get the answer, right? So ಇದೆಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ನಿಮಗೆ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಷಿಯೇಷನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರೇಷನ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಶಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿನ ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಫರ್ದರ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಶಿಯೇಟ್ ದ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ದ ಆಕ್ಸಲರೇಷನ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರೇಟ್ ದ ಆಕ್ಸಲರೇಷನ್ ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ. ಸೊ ಎರಡು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗಬಹುದು, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ fourth question, a particle of unit mass undergoes one dimension motion such that its velocity varies according to v of x, that is equals to beta into x power minus 2n, where beta and n are constant and x is the position of the particle. The acceleration of the particle as a function of x is, that is displacement. For example, second example, right? xp, that is equals to some at plus bt square, right? So in problem displacement that is varies with respect to time, so then only we get what? Velocity. V is equals to dx by dt, that is rate of change of displacement. We differentiate the displacement with respect to time, then only we get what? Velocity. But in this case the velocity is varying with respect to displacement, not with respect to time. So with respect to time kodre namage easy ಆಗಿ simplify ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, because dv by dt, right? So but the given velocity with respect to x, so we can't differentiate a is equals to dv by dx. So if we differentiate dv with respect to dx, it gives what? Gradient. So A is not equals to dv by dt. That means change in velocity with respect to length or with respect to distance, we call that one as gradient, right? So that was not the definition of the acceleration, right? So acceleration is dv with respect to time only. If we differentiate the velocity with respect to time only, then only we get what acceleration. So we need to careful while solving the equation. So equation ಅಲ್ಲಿ with respect to time ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೋ with respect to distance ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೋ ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, right? So for that, so they given the velocity with respect to distance, right? So we know the formula A is equals to dv by dt, right? So A is equals to d by dt. So velocity they given beta into x power minus 2n. They mention beta is constant and n is constant. So beta keeping outside, only differentiating x with respect to t, but this velocity is with respect to x, not with respect to t, right? So beta keeping as is differentiation of x power 2n minus 1. So n, this whole we taken as n, right? So minus 2n, right? So x power minus 2n minus 1, right? So this is the formula t power n, that is equals to n into t power n minus 1. So overall this we taken as n, minus 2n is a constant, so keeping as is minus 2n, x power minus 2n, in place of n we written minus 2n minus 1, right? So now further we need to differentiate dx divided by dt, right? So previous problem alli ee problem alli ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ ನಾವು, just d by dt, so ad plus bt square. So ಇದನ್ನ just a plus 2bt ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಬರೀತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. So if we write further dt by dt, so dt by dt cancel ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. So ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬರೀತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, but here x, so x dx divided by dt, it won't cancel, right? And also we know dx by dt is change in displacement with respect to time, we call that one as velocity, right? So here minus 2n beta x power minus 2n minus 1. So dx by dt is what? Velocity, and velocity they given beta into x power minus 2n, right? So beta into beta, keeping as is minus 2n, beta square, right? So x power minus 4n minus 1. So this gives what? Acceleration in terms of displacement. Namge displacement begili. They given, they ask acceleration, we need to find the acceleration with respect to displacement. So here velocity with respect to displacement, again acceleration with respect to displacement, right? So the option is minus 2n beta square x power minus 4n, that is minus 2n we get minus 4n minus 1. So option is option D. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ if they ask x in terms of t ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ dt by dt ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, right? So directly we can differentiate. So velocity varies with respect to x ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ we need to differentiate x with respect to time. So ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದು ನಮಗೆ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಷಿಯೇಷನ್ ಮ್ಯಾಥ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ದ್ರಲ್ಲೂ ಬರೋದ್ರಿಂದ you need to understand here, right? Next question. A stone falls freely under gravity. It covers distances h1, h2 and h3 in first 5 seconds, the next 5 seconds and the next 5 seconds respectively. The relation between h1, h2 and h3 is, right? So question ಅಂದ್ರೆ one stone which is falling freely. So freely falling ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ its initial velocity is 0. So its velocity is 0, right? So it covers h1 distance 5 seconds, right? So it covers h1 distance in 5 seconds. Next, h2 distance in next 5 seconds, right? So again, h3 distance in next 5 seconds, right? So we need to find the relation h1 is equals to h2 is equals to h3. So we need to find the relation between h1 and h2 and h2 and h3 or h1 and h3, right? So again from the three equations, so this is vertically downward motion. So here a is equals to g. So we using the given distance and time. So we need to use the relation h, that is equals to ut plus half gt square, right? So vertically downward motion irodrinda ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. If it is vertically upward means minus. So freely falling body has u is equals to 0, right? So h is equals to 1 by 2 gt square by using this relation. So initially in the first case, freely falling, when u is equals to 0, it covers distance h1 in 5 seconds. That means h1, that is equals to 1 by 2 into g into 5 square, right? So h1 is 25 g by 2. So take this one as first equation, right? So next in the h1 cover agtadange, it will cover h2 distance in next 5 seconds. That means the ball will be here after it covers a distance 25 g by 2. So idonna simplify madodre 10 by 2, that is 5 into 25. That means 125 meter distance travel agmele next h2 cover agta ide ಎಷ್ಟು seconds ಅಲ್ಲಿ 5 seconds ಅಲ್ಲಿ. But here its initial velocity u is not equals to 0 because as it vertically in downward motion, it has some velocity. Initially its velocity is 0, right? So after it covers certain distance means its velocity is not equals to 0. So we can't use this relation to find the distance which is covered h2, right? So but we can use the same relation for the total distance which is covered from initial to h2. That means the total distance covered h1 plus h2, we can write that equation, right? So initially namge 0 irutte, as it moves vertically downward it gains some velocity, right? So in that case we can't directly use this relation in second case, right? So for that reason we can take the total h1 plus h2, that is equals to half gt square. So the total distance and total time. So total time 5 plus 5, that is 10, right? So h1 we have 25 g by 2 plus h2, that is equals to 1 by 2 g into 10 square. Why 10 means we have taken h1 plus h2. So the total time to reach the ball up to this distance is 10 seconds. 5 plus 5, 10 seconds, right? So that's why the time taken is 10 square. So if we simplify here, h2 is equals to 100 g by 2 minus 25 g by 2, right? So h2 is equals to 75 g by 2. So this one is second equation, right? So next, same as up to here, we need to take the total h1 plus h2 plus h3, and the total time is 5 plus 5 plus 5, right? So that gives what h1 plus h2 plus h3, that is equals to 1 by 2 g into 50 square, right? So h1 plus h2, we get the value sum 100 by 100 g by 2, right? So this value we can write 100 g by 2 plus h3, that is equals to 225. 15 square is 225 g by 2. So h3 is equals to 125 g by 2. So calling this equation 3. So we need the relation for h1 and h2. So if we divide h1 and h2, we get the relation for h1 and h2, right? So divide equation 1 and 2, h1 by h2, that is equals to 25g by 2 whole divided by 75g by 2. So g by 2 get cancels. So 5 ones are. So h1 is equals to h2 by 3. So if we divide h1 and h2, we get h2 by 3. In the same way, either we can divide h2 by h3 or h1 by h3, right? So divide h1 by h3, we get 25g by 2 whole divided by 125g by 2. So g by 2 get cancels, right? So 25 ones are 25 5s are, right? So h1 is equals to h3 by 5. So h1 is equals to h2 by 3, h1 is equals to h3 by 5. So we can write this one as h1 is equals to h2 by 3, that is equals to h3 by 5. So now in concept na ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಲ್ಲ direct relation ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ h2 is equals to say what h2 is equals to 1 by 2 g times 5 square, so we get 25g by 2. Same h3 is equals to 1 by 2 into 5 square, so all we getting the same relation 25g by 2. So that means h1 is equals to h2 is equals to h3, right? So that is also in our option, so that goes wrong, right? So in between, in the intermediate, always u has some velocity, so it is not always equals to 0. In the initial case only its value is 0, that's why we call that one as initial velocity. So careful ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. So length ಇದೆ but fast ಆಗಿ simplify ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, right? Next, the displacement x in meter of a particle of mass m moving in one dimension under the action of a force is related to time t by t is equals to root x plus 3. The displacement of a particle when its velocity is 0 will be. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಏನಿದೆ, time varies with the displacement, right? So t, that is equals to root x plus 3, right? So we need to find the displacement when its velocity is 0. That means first we need to find the velocity. So we need to find the velocity means first we need to find the displacement. Just rearranging the terms, so root x, that is equals to t minus 3, right? So squaring on both sides, so we get x is equals to t minus 3 whole square, right? So velocity again v is equals to dx by dt, right? So we have the x here, d by dt of x value is t minus 3 whole square, right? So this we considering the whole equation, either we can expand t square plus 3 plus 9 minus 6t, so ಅದನ್ನ expand ಮಾಡಿ ಕೂಡ differentiate ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು differentiate ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. So direct differentiate ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 2 into t minus 3, 2 minus 1 is 1, right? So further differentiate dt by dt, so dt by dt get cancelled, so we get 2 into t minus 3, that is what velocity. So they given when the velocity is 0, we need to find the displacement x, so that means this value is 0, right? So that is 0 is equals to 2 into t minus 3, that means t minus 3 is equals to 0, that is 3, t is equals to 3 seconds. So this 3 seconds we need to substitute here, then we get the displacement, right? So 3 minus 3 whole square, so 3 minus 3 is 0, so displacement x is equals to 0, right? So the option is option B, right? So almost differentiation ಮತ್ತೆ integration ಮೇಲೆನೇ ಇದೆ. So ನೀವು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. By only knowing the formulas you can't able to simplify the problems directly. So ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕೂಡ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಓದ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಹಾಫ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ನ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ರೈಟ್. Next, seventh question. The motion of a particle along a straight line is described by the equation x is equals to 8 plus 12t minus t cube, where x is in meter and t in second. The retardation of the particle when its velocity becomes 0 is. So we need to find the retardation when its velocity is 0. That means its final velocity is 0, right? So the given again displacement x is equals to 8 plus 12t minus t cube. So retardation means acceleration, that is negative acceleration. First we need to find the velocity. So velocity is dx by dt, right? That means we are going to differentiate this equation. So we get velocity that is equals to 12 minus 3t square, right? 8 is a constant. If we differentiate the constant, we get the value is 0. So 12 into t power 1 minus 1, 0 that is t power 0 is 1, 1 into 12 is 12. So t power 3 is 3 into t power 3 minus 1, that is 3t square, right? So again we need to find the acceleration. That means we need to differentiate the velocity, dv divided by dt, right? So if we differentiate this, we get a is equals to minus 3 into 2, that is 6t, right? So this is the acceleration in terms of time. So here we need to find the time. So we need to find the time when the velocity of the particle is 0. That means we are equating this to 0, right? So here if we equate this to 0, 12 minus 3t square is equals to 0. Then 3t square is equals to 12, t square is equals to 4, t is equals to 2, that is plus or minus 2. So time is always positive, hence we taken t is equals to 2. So substitute this t here. So a is equals to minus 6 into 2. So a is equals to minus 12 meter per second square, right? So option is option D. So option D ಅಲ್ಲಿ minus ಇಲ್ಲ, because they are asking the retardation. Retardation means negative acceleration. So in term ಅಲ್ಲೇ mention ಆಗುತ್ತೆ negative acceleration. So only we need to represent the magnitude. So if they ask for acceleration, then minus must be there in the answer, right? So acceleration ಅಂದ್ರೆ minus ಇರಲೇಬೇಕು. Retardation ಅಂದ್ರೆ it should be positive value, because in the name itself it mentions retardation means negative, right? So option is option D. So next, a boy standing at the top of tower of 20 meter height dropped a stone, assuming g is equals to 10 meter per second square, the velocity with which it hits the ground. So if we consider this is one tower, so tower height is some 20 meter. So from the top of the tower, one ball is dropping. So dropping means its initial velocity is 0. Dropping, then freely falling, all terms represent what? Its initial velocity is 0. Thrown ಮತ್ತೆ drop ಎರಡಕ್ಕೂ difference ಇದೆ. If he is throwing means it has some initial velocity. If he is dropping means its initial velocity is 0, right? So here we need to find the final velocity when it reaches the ground. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ the ball has some velocity, we need to find that one, right? So by using v square minus u square, that is equals to 2gh. So vertically downward motion irodrinda we getting the positive, that is plus 2gh. So its initial velocity is 0. So this value becomes 0. So we need to find v square. So v square is equals to 2 into g is 10 and height is 20. So v square is equals to 400. Then v is equals to 20 meter per second. So tumba simple problem, right? So option is option B. So next, ninth question. A particle covers half of its total distance with speed v1 and the rest half distance with speed v2. Its average speed during the complete journey is, right? So if we consider this one from point A to B as the total distance, that is d. So in the question I mentioned half distance is covered with speed v1. So half distance means exactly at c it covers that is half distance, that is d by 2 with speed v1 and time t1, and rest half distance with speed v2 and time t2. So we need to find the average velocity. So average velocity is the displacement by total time taken, right? So that is in the form of velocity, right? So we know velocity is equals to distance by time taken. So first half distance is covered with velocity d1. So distance by half and time is t1, right? So from this we can write t1 is equals to d by 2 v1. So similarly t2 is equals to d divided by 2 v2, right? So average velocity v average, that is equals to total distance, that is d. So this is the total distance, or we can d by 2 plus d by 2 divided by total time taken t1 plus t2, right? So d divided by t1 d by 2v1 plus d by 2v2. So d keeping as is, taken d by 2 as common, 1 by v1 plus 1 by v2. So d get cancelled, this 2 goes to the numerator and LCM v1 v2. So remaining v1 plus v2. This is what v average. So straight line only the average speed, average velocity, both are same. So option C, 2 v1 v2 divided by v1 plus v2. Right. Next, so next is also same. They given the relation. A particle moves a distance x in time t according to the equation x is equals to t plus 5 whole power minus 1. The acceleration of particle is proportional to, right? So the given displacement x, that is equals to in time, in terms of time, that is t plus 5 whole power minus 1. So t plus 5 whole power minus 1. So this we are considering the same. So nಮಗೆ maths will ಬರುತ್ತೆ x plus a. If we differentiate x plus a, we get 1 constant. So if we differentiate only x, you also get 1. So if we differentiate x plus a, then also you get 1, right? So hence we consider this one as one term, because if we differentiate x, we get 1. If we differentiate constant, we get 0. So 1 plus 0 is again 1, right? So hence we consider this as one term, right? So we need to find the acceleration, right? So first velocity v is equals to minus 1 t plus 5 whole power minus 1, we get minus 2, right? So if we differentiate again velocity, we get the acceleration minus 1 into minus 2 t plus 5 whole power minus 3, right? So a is equals to minus 1 into minus 2, so we get 2 t plus 5. So this we can write minus 1 whole cube, right? So minus 1 into 3, again we get minus 3. So this we can write t plus 5 whole power minus 1 whole cube, right? So when 2 is constant, so there is acceleration proportional to. So proportional to means always, so if we have two values, some x is proportional to y. So if we remove this proportional, we need 2. That means changes from proportional to equal symbol, we adding one constant, that is k or some c. We taken that value. So proportional in the equals change ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ equals ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ನ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. Same as here we are changing from equals to proportional means, so we have equals and also some constant value. 2 is some constant, so we can write a is proportional to. So ಈ ಕೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ಈ ತರ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ we can't, right? So a into t plus 5 whole power minus 1 cube, right? So from the given data, t plus 5 whole power minus 1 is what? X. X is displacement, and acceleration is directly proportional to displacement cube, right? So optionally then optionally ಇಲ್ಲ, right? So next we need to change. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ acceleration relates with displacement or it relates with velocity, right? So now check for the velocity, how acceleration varies with velocity, right? So by taking this relation v, that is equals to minus 1 t plus 5 whole power minus 2, right? So taking square roots on both sides. So taking square roots on both sides, we get v power 1 by 2, that is equals to minus 1 t plus 5 whole power minus 1, right? So ನಮಗೆ acceleration ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ acceleration is t plus 5 power minus 1 4 cube ಇದ್ರೆ we can write that one as acceleration. So here we have only t plus 5 whole power minus 1, right? So we need this value as cube power, right? So that's why taking cube on both sides, taking cube on both sides. So that means v half whole power cube, that is equals to minus 1 t plus 5 whole power minus 1 whole cube, right? So this we can write v power 3 by 2, that is equals to minus 1 power cube, again we get minus 1, so t plus 5 whole power minus 1 into cube. Now we can write this one as a. So v power 3 by 2, that is equals to minus 1 into a. So a is along with this constant, so acceleration is proportional to velocity power 3 by 2, right? So optionally there, that is option A, right? So next problem ಅಲ್ಲಿ change ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ if they ask for ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡದಲೇ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ so we choose this one, right? So ಎರಡೂನು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. How acceleration varies with displacement and acceleration varies with velocity. As it is moving in the same direction, displacement is equals to distance. So don't confuse that one. So straight line motion alli one dimension motion andre distance displacement almost same barutte, right? So option is option A. So a ball is dropped from a high rise platform at t is equals to 0 starting from rest. After 6 seconds another ball is thrown downwards from the same platform with speed v. The two balls meet at t is equals to 18 seconds. So what is the value of v? So question ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ball is dropped from a high rise platform. So somewhere, so this is some particular height, so this is taken as ground, right? Starting at t is equals to 0 from rest, right? So first time ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಒಂದು ball ನ drop ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. So drop means its initial velocity u is 0, right? So next, after 6 seconds another ball is thrown downwards from the same platform with the speed v. So same height in the another ball they are throwing with velocity v. That means it has some initial velocity, so that initial velocity they mention as v. So initially first case alli drop ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, after 6 seconds the another ball they are throwing, right? So these two balls meet at some point after, they mention that they meet at after t is equals to 18 seconds, right? So we need to find the velocity of the ball which they are thrown, right? So by taken we don't know the at what height these two balls are meeting, right? So we taken that height as h. So after it covers certain distance, so at that distance these two balls they are meeting. So if they write for the first case, h is equals to ut plus half gt square. So it's vertically downward motion, right? So initial velocity is 0, right? So h is equals to half gt, time that is 18 seconds. So initially they drop one, so that's for 18 seconds, right? So the time is 18 square, right? So this ball is dropping after 6 seconds. That means the time taken by the ball v moving with some velocity v, so that time is 12 seconds. That means 18 minus 6, so that's we are getting 12, right? So for that they meet at a same height or at the same time, right? So h is equals to ut plus half g t square is 12 square, right? So h substituting here 18 square g by 2, that is equals to ut plus 12 square g by 2, right? So if we shift this to LHS, 18 square minus 12 square g by 2, that is equals to u into t. So here the time t we know, right? That is 12 seconds. U into 12. So here also u into 12. So here also u into 12, right? So competitive exams ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟರ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 18 ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು 12 ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫೈ, ಸೊ ತುಂಬಾ ಟೈಮ್ ಹಿಡಿಯುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್? So here this is in the form of a minus a square minus b square. So formula is a plus b into a minus b, that is 18 plus 12, that is 18 plus 12 is, we can write this one as 18 plus 12 and 18 minus 12, a plus b into a minus b. So g is 10 by 2, that is equals to u into 12, right? So 8 plus 2 10, that is 30 into, so 18 minus 12 we get 6 into 10 by 2, that is equals to 12 u or 12 v. So we need to find the velocity v, right? So 2 5s are 10, so 6 2s are 12, right? So 2 15s are 30, so 15 into 5, that is u is equals to 75 meter per second, right? So option is option A. So in ಎರಡು ಕೇಸಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಟೂ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಮೀಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ದೇ ಗಿವನ್ ದ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಸ್ 18 seconds. So indirectly given ball A is moving to reach the height is 18 seconds. After 6 seconds means the time taken by the ball, second ball, the time taken is 12 seconds. After 6 seconds means we need to subtract 18 minus 6. So we get that is 12 seconds, right? So option is option A, that is 75 meter per second. Next. A particle starts its motion from rest under the action of a constant force if the distance covered in first 10 seconds is S1 and that covered in first 20 seconds is S2, right? So initially two cases na represent ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So object is moving, right? So one object is moving, so that object starts from rest. Always its initial velocity is 0. So rest in the start ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದರ initial velocity 0 ಇರುತ್ತೆ, right? Under the action of a constant force, it covers distance covered in first 10 seconds, right? So ilinda ili baradukke it takes some time, that is t is equals to 10 seconds, right? So that distance covered is S1, right? So and again that covered in first 20 seconds, right? So first 20 seconds means up to here, when t is equals to some 20 seconds, it covered distance is S2, right? So we need to find the relation between S1 and S2, right? So again we have the displacement S is equals to ut plus half at square, right? So here in both the cases initial velocity u is 0, so this whole term becomes 0. So in the first case S1 that is equals to half a into time is 10 square, right? So in the second case S2 that is equals to 1 by 2 a into time is 20 square, right? So namge options alli irodu we need to find the relation between S1 and S2. So for that we need to divide these two equations, S1 by S2. So 1 by 2a get cancelled, right? So S1 by S2 that is equals to 10 square is 100, so 20 square is 400. So zeros we can remove, right? So S2 is equals to 4 S1. So option is option B. Next question. A bus is moving with a speed of 10 meters per second on a straight road. A scooterist wishes to overtake the bus in 100 seconds, right? So if the bus is at a distance of 1 kilometer from the scooterist, with what speed should the scooterist chase the bus, right? So question alli a bus is moving with a speed, right? So if you consider this one as bus, so bus is moving with some speed that is some 10 meter per second on a straight road. A scooterist wishes to overtake the bus in 100 seconds. So here one scooter is there, right? So this scooterist wishes to overtake this bus in the time to overtake the given 100 seconds, right? So if the bus is at a distance of 1 kilometer from the scooterist, so the distance between the bus and the scooter is 1 kilometer, so SI unit is 1000 meter. So 1 kilometer is equals to 1000 meter, right? So with what speed should the scooterist chase the bus? That means we are going to find the velocity of the scooter with respect to the bus. That means relative motion. So relative velocity of the scooterist with respect to the bus, right? So that is velocity of the scooterist with respect to the bus. So S is scooter and B is the bus, right? So that is Vs minus B, right? We know the velocity of the bus, right? So Vs minus Vb is what? That is 10, right? The velocity of the scooterist to overtake this bus, so the distance is 1000 meter and the time taken is 100 seconds. So that gives what the relative velocity, that is the displacement with respect to the time of the scooterist with respect to the bus to overtake, right? So that one, that is displacement by time taken. So displacement is 1000, time taken is 100, right? So zeros get cancelled. So 10 is equals to Vs minus 10. So Vs is equals to 10 plus 10, that is 20 meter per second. So velocity of the scooterist is 20 meters per second. So if he is moving with 20 meter per second, so he can overtake this bus in 100 seconds, right? So option is option D. Velocity given A is constant, so A is same. So first in the first relation we need to find the A, then substitute here we get the value, right? Or we can write here V minus U, that is equals to A into T, right? So V square minus U square, we can write V plus U into V minus U, that is equals to 2A. Yes, so V plus U, keeping as is V plus U. So V minus U, we can write that one as A into T, that is equals to 2AS. So A get cancelled. We need time T, that is equals to 2S divided by V plus U. So substitute and simplify, we get the answers, right? So 2 into distance is 135, right? And 10 plus 20, right? So that is T is equals to 2 into 135 by 30. So 3 tens are 30. Next, the distance traveled by a particle starting from rest and moving with an acceleration 4 by 3 meter per second square in the third second is. So now we get a direct formula here. Or the distance traveled in third second minus the distance traveled in second second. So here do no subtract model again the distance covered in third second, or we have the relation Sn, that is equals to Ut plus n minus 1 by 2 into A. So this is the relation, distance covered in nth second, where S is the distance and n is the nth second, that is U is the initial velocity, T is the time taken, n where n is the nth second, 1 by 2 into A is the acceleration, right? So starts from rest. So starts from rest. Its initial velocity is 0, right? So the distance covered in third second, that is S3, that is equals to 3 minus 1 by 2 into the given acceleration 4 divided by 3, right? So 6 minus 1, 5 by 2 into 4 by 3, that is 10 divided by 3 meter. So option is option A. So a formula then so Sn is equals to Ut, that is distance covered in nth second. So nth second where n seconds there. Nth seconds and at that particular time. So third second and a second alle distance cover agiradu. 3 seconds means overall it covers from 3 seconds, right? So Sn is equals to Ut plus n minus 1 by 2 into A, or we write this one as 2n minus 1 into A by 2. So yav ತರ ಬೇಕಿದ್ರು ಅದನ್ನ ಬರ್ಕೋಬಹುದು, right? Next, a particle moving along x-axis has acceleration f at the time t given by f is equals to f naught into 1 minus t by t, where f naught and t are constant. The particle at t, initially t is equals to 0, has 0 velocity. In the time interval between t is equals to 0, the instant when f is equals to 0, the particle velocity vx is, right? So here they given acceleration in terms of function f, that means they given the acceleration and we need to find the velocity, right? So the given acceleration relation f is equals to f naught into 1 minus t divided by t. So this is the acceleration and we need to find the particle velocity, and they given the condition, that is the particle t is equals to 0 has 0 velocity. That means when t is equals to 0, its velocity is 0. In the time interval between t is equals to 0, the instant when f is equals to 0, that means when f is equals to 0, right? So here substituting 0, that is equals to f naught into 1 minus t divided by t, right? So f naught is equals to 0, 1 minus t by t, that is equals to 0, right? So 1 is equals to t by t, so t is equals to t, right? So when f is equals to 0, that is when t is equals to 0, right? So we need to find from t is equals to 0 to t is equals to t, that is the time taken from 0 to t. So in this time we are going to find the velocity, right? So acceleration is equals to dv by dt. So we need the velocity dv, that is equals to a into dt. So if we did the integration, then we get the velocity, right? So v, that is equals to integration of acceleration, the given f naught into 1 minus t divided by t into dt, right? So f naught is constant. So time varies from 0 to capital T. So initially 0 and after time t. So this we call as limits. So taking f naught outside, integration of 0 to t, 1 minus, or we write this one as 1 into dt minus t into dt by t. So here t is also constant, right? So v is equals to f naught. So if we integrate this one, we get t. So limit is 0 to t minus 1 by t taken outside. So t square divided by 2. So limit is 0 to t, right? So v is equals to f naught. So final limit minus initial limit t minus 0 minus 1 by t. So here final limit 2 taken outside, 1 by 2t, that is t square minus 0. So ಇದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾಥ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋವರೆಗೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಷಿಯೇಷನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಐಡಿಯಾಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಮೈನಸ್ t square by 2t. So t get cancelled. So f naught into t minus t by 2. So take an LCM to t minus t, that is t by 2. So t f naught by 2. So this gives what? The velocity v, right? So option is option C, that is f naught t by 2. So options are almost ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಸೇಮ್ ಇದಾವೆ, ಬಟ್ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಈ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾಥ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋವರೆಗೂ ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ just integration, ಇದು ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, t power 1 ಇದೆ. So integration formula, that is t square divided by 2. So substituting the limits, So simplifying, we get the answer. Next, a car moves from x to y with uniform speed Vu and returns to y with uniform speed Vd. The average speed for this round trip, right? So we need to, so this is x point and this is y point. So this is the car, right? So car which moves from x to y with the velocity Vu, right? So car moving from x to y with velocity Vu. After reaching y, again it comes back to x with the velocity Vd, right? So we need to find the average speed, average velocity means again it becomes zero. Initial and final ಎರಡು same ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ zero ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. But here they are asking the average speed. Average speed is the total distance traveled to the total time taken, right? So assume the distance between x and y is d, right? From the relation velocity is equals to distance by time taken. So it takes some time t1 to reach from x to y, right? So ನಮಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. x ಇಂದ y ಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಟೈಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಸೇಮ್ y ಇಂದ x ಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಸೇಮ್ ಇರೋಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ಕೂಡ ನಮಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಟೇಕನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಸ್ t1 and t2. ಬಟ್ x ಇಂದ y ಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೋ y ಇಂದ x ಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮಗೆ ಸೇಮ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ vu that is equals to d divided by t1. Same as Vd is equals to d divided by t2. So now average speed is equals to total distance traveled, that is from x to y, from y to x, that is d plus d divided by total time taken, that is t1 plus t2, right? So that is equals to 2d divided by d by t1 plus d by t2. So they are asking in terms of velocity, right? So changes this to t1, that is d by vu plus d by vd. So from this we can take common d. So 1 by vu plus 1 by vd. So dd get cancelled, taking LCM 2 into vu vd divided by vu plus vd. So that is what the average speed. So option is option D. This is in option D. So next, the position of x of a particle with respect to time t along x-axis is given by x is equals to 9t square minus t cube, where x is in meter and t in second. What will be the position of the particle when it achieves maximum speed along the x direction, right? So the maximum ಮತ್ತೆ minimum case. So maximum means the condition. So maths ಅಲ್ಲಿ maximum condition ಅಂದ್ರೆ d square x by dt square is d square x by d square y by So a problem based on the maximum and minimum condition, right? So the given x is equals to 9t square minus t cube. So maximum speed alidaga position, we need to find the position. That means we need to find the displacement when it's maximum speed, right? So that is this is for maximum. To find the maximum and minimum condition in mathematics, we have the relation d square y by dx square, that is equals to 0. So ಇದು 0 ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಬರುತ್ತೋ, so that gives what the maximum distance. So this is the condition to find the maximum or minimum. So ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಿನಿಮಾ, ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಾ. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮ್ಯಾಥ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, right? So same we are applying here also, right? So first we need to find the velocity. V is equals to dx by dt, right? So that is equals to 18t minus 3t square, right? So next, acceleration, that is equals to dv divided by dt, that is change in velocity with respect to time we use for the acceleration. So this we can write d by dt of velocity, we can write dx by dt, right? So acceleration we can write in terms of displacement, that is d square x by dt square. So d into dx by dt is d square x by dt square, right? So this we call as double differentiation, right? So once we differentiate, we get dx by dt. If we again differentiate, we get d square x by dt square, right? So that is equals to, differentiating this one more time, we get 18 minus 6t, right? We need to find when the object is moving with maximum speed. So the condition is this value is equals to 0, right? So substituting here, 0, that is equals to 18 minus 60, right? So 60 is equals to 18, then t is equals to 3 seconds. So now substitute this here, because we need to find the position of a particle when the object is moving with maximum speed, right? So that is x is equals to 9 into 3 square minus 3 cube, right? So from this we can take 3 square common, that is 9. If we take common, 9 minus 3, right? So 9 into 6, that is 54 meter, right? So option is option A. So we need to remember this one for finding either maxima or minima. Eradu kuda same. To find the maxima or minima, the condition is for d square x by dt square, that is equals to 0, right? So idu namge condition to find the maxima or minima. Illi namge value positive bandide, right? So positive means the maximum value, negative means the minimum value. But num physics problem ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಬಂದು time should not be equal to minus, so time negative ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, right? So that's why we are always getting the maxima values, right? So this is the condition for maxima and minima. So note this one. To find maxima or minima, the condition is d square x by dt square is equals to 0, or we call that one as when acceleration is equals to 0. So acceleration 0 idaga we get the maximum distance covered by an object, right? Next, two bodies A and B of masses, different masses of 1 kg and 3 kg are dropped from the height of 16 meter and 25 meter respectively. The ratio of the time taken by them to reach the ground. So ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರ ಥಿಯರಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದು ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಥಿಯರಿ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಡಿಫರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಡೆಪ್ತ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್, ಬಟ್ ಥಿಯರಿ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಇರೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಟೂ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಸಸ್, ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ 1 kg and another one is 3 kg. They are dropped from the heights of 16 meter and 25 meter. So height of the object 1 kg is 16 meter and another object of mass 3 kg is dropping from the height of 25 meter, right? So we need to find the ratio of T1 and T2. So in regular class alli theory explain ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾನು explain ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ, right? So condition is dropping. Dropping means in both the cases its initial velocity is 0, right? So first ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಡ್ರಾಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೋ ಅಥವಾ ಥ್ರೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೋ ಅಂತ. ಡ್ರಾಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ that means that initial value is, that is initial velocity is 0, right? So again from the relation h is equals to ut plus half gt square, right? So here initial velocity is 0, right? So h is equals to 1 by 2 g t square. So ಎರಡು ಕೇಸಸ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಒಂದನ್ನ h1 ಇನ್ನೊಂದು h2 because these two are dropping from two different heights, so hence we having h1 and h2, and the time taken by those two are two different times, t1 and t2, right? So now previous again, 1 by 2 is constant, g is constant, so this whole term is constant, so we can write this one as h is proportional to t square, right? So we can change from equals to proportional. So 1 by 2 g is constant, so we can write h is proportional to t square. So here we have two cases, h1 is equals to h1 is proportional to t1 square and h2 is proportional to t2 square, right? So we take the ratio h1 by h2, that is equals to t1 by t2 whole square. So we are going to find the ratio of t1 and t2, right? So h1 is what, 16, h2 is what, 25, that is equals to t1 by t2 whole square, right? So taking square roots on both sides, so we get this one as under square root of 16 divided by 25 is equals to t1 by t2. So root 16 is 4, root 25 is 5, so t1 by t2 is 4 divided by 5. So the ratio of time taken by the two objects is 4 by 5. So option is option A, right? So that means time taken by the object t1 is 4 seconds and here it is 5 seconds, right? So remaining problems we will discuss in our next class. So ನೀವು ಕೂಡ try ಮಾಡಿ. So if they have any doubts means, so ask me in the group, right? So ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗದೇ ಇರೋ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಇರಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ next if you try the problems means ask in the group, right? Thank you.